Saxon Algebra 1/2 lesson students, welcome. I said that wrong. Welcome students, lesson 18. We're going to talk about fractional parts of a number. That is probably the one and only time you'll hear me use this expression. I'm going to refer to this topic of study as the freaking formula. And I will explain why in just a minute. All right, so this is what my brain says when I'm talking about fractional parts of a number. First, I want to just do a quickie review reminding you about multiplying fractions that are whole numbers. Okay, if we have something like this, 1/4 times 3 over 5, what we remember is that when we multiply fractions, we go straight across the top, straight across the bottom. So this would become 3 over 20, right? Easy. What if instead of 1/4, what if it was 4 times 3 over 5? How do we deal with that? Remember, when you have a whole number, you make it part of the fraction club by putting it over 1. Now we can do the same thing. This one would be 12 over 5. So when you have a whole number and you're trying to multiply it by a fraction, put it over 1. That's the trick, right? Okay, now, up until now, we have been talking about fractions mostly as it relates to a whole. We've talked a lot about pizzas, right? Or cakes or pumpkin pies or what have you. But I like to talk about pizzas. And we've talked about things like find 1/4 of a pizza, right? And you take it and you divide it into 4 equal sections, and then you select one of them, right? And you pretend it's perfect because no one can ever draw it exactly perfect, okay? And this is 1/4 of one pizza, and it equals 1/4 of the pizza, right? But what if now we move on to dessert, and I give you 20 M&Ms. I give them to you and 3 of your siblings. I'm sorry, I'm not being very generous on this day. And I say that you can have 1/4 of the 20 M&Ms. Now, this one has pretty easy numbers, so we can go, okay, well, 20 divided by 4 equals 5, right? You're gonna get 5. Plus, you could just see the rows of it. I'm just gonna circle. Those are the ones you get, right? These numbers are easy, so it's fairly straightforward to do it in your head. But what we're gonna practice doing is using a formula that allows us to jump right into this process even when the numbers are not so obvious. That formula is called the freaking formula. And that's what I mean by saying fractional parts of a number. The number is 20, and we want to take a fractional part of it. We want to take 1/4 of it. So that name, fractional parts of a number, it's too complicated. I don't like it. That's weird how my pen skipped. So this is the formula we can use to do this calculation for us when the numbers are hard. We're going to write it in our books in just a second, but I want to explain it to you. F times of equals is. In this, I'm going to change that equal sign to is. The F stands for the fraction. The of number is the total group. I'm going to apply this to our example in just a second, so you'll make sense of it. The is number is the special group. Okay, so when your mom comes along, or me, I guess I'm the one distributing the candy in this case. I've got my 20 M&Ms, and I think it should be something bigger. I think these should be Reese's peanut butter cups, so you're getting a little bit more, because 5 M&Ms, seriously, that is just sad. These are Reese's peanut butter cups. I hope you like them. So you're getting a little bit more of a payoff here. So I say that you can take 1/4 of the 20. So 1/4 times 20 equals 5, the special group that you get to have. This is a formula that we can use whenever we're trying to divide up a bigger group into a smaller group. And there will be lots of different stories that we use. This is a problem that I think is even easier when you have a story. If you're just looking at the numbers, it is almost more obscure. So we'll work it for a while without stories, or maybe I'll make up my own stories. And that will be fine. We'll use this formula. But once we get into John sharing stories with us, I think it's even easier. The reason it's called the freaking formula is because years ago, I had a student named Scotty, and he was one of those middle school boys that like to kind of be big and bad, you know what I mean? So he liked to say freaking a lot because it's kind of like swearing, but not really. But he was, he liked to be a kind of a naughty boy. By the way, now he lives in Everett. He's married. He has a cute little baby girl, and they went to the pumpkin farm this weekend, and I saw really cute pictures of them at the pumpkin farm. So he did not turn out to be as big and bad as he thought he was when he was like 12. But he could never remember this formula, and I was calling on him one day and saying, Scotty, how are we going to solve this problem? What are we going to use? And he goes, that freaking formula. I can never remember it. And so it became the freaking formula. So that's why I call it that. Example, there are only 2 examples, and we're going to do them right here. 18.1. This is how it looks. Find 3/7 of 42. Okay, we're going to use, you could maybe do this in your head. That's cool, but we're going to do it using the formula. So what I'm telling you is there's 42 submarine sandwiches in the refrigerator, and there are 42 of them, and you may eat 3/7 of them. There's going to be 6 other kids coming over, and you get 3 of the 7. So I don't know what's going to happen with those other kids. But in any case, that's your share. So how many sandwiches do you get? Well, we take the fraction that you're allowed, 3/7, and we multiply that by the total group. Now notice that the word of is the total group, and that's why our formula is written in terms of the word that always appears in the problem next to the number that belongs there. So it seems weird at first that we have a formula with words in it, but that word will always show up in the problems, and it helps us put things in their right place. All right, so we're going to multiply this times 42. Remember what we just said about when you're multiplying a fraction by a number that's not a fraction? So we'll put that over 1, and the answer will be the number of submarine sandwiches that we get. So we multiply. Now, before we multiply across in these, John almost always makes the numbers come out cute. So we look to cancel, reduce, what have you, before we actually do the multiplication. I do not want to multiply 3 times 42, but I know that 7 goes into 42 6 times, right? 6 times 7 is 42. So I'm going to cross both of these out, and I'm going to write a 6 there to show that I reduced it, and I'm going to write a 1 right there. 3 times 6 is 18. 1 times 1 is 1. So that means I get to eat 18 of those 42 submarine sandwiches. Wow, generous portion. All right, one more. What number is 5/7 of 12? That's another way of asking the very same question. What number is, see, there's the hint that we don't know what it is, but we're trying to find the is number. 5/7 of 12. So the of number is 12. This is the fraction, clearly. It's the only fraction in the sentence. So what we do is we say 5/7 times the of number, put it over 1, equals the special number, is, right? And that's by itself over there, so it's fine. All right, now this one, we look to cancel. There's nothing we can do here. So all we can do is write it, multiplying straight across the top and the bottom. That is our final answer. 67 represents 5/7 of 12. All right, that one is less satisfying, but it is the right answer, and we're just multiplying by fractions. All right, so in these problems, John's gonna use two different sets of words to explain them. Find 2/3 of 30. What number is? Both of those are two ways of asking you to find the freaking formula. You're being given the fraction and the of number, and you're finding the special group. All right, we're going to be doing this for a while, you guys. So if right now you're just like, what is she even talking about with this freaking formula? Don't worry, we're going to keep doing this and it will make a lot more sense in the end. This is also one of the most practical everyday life problems that comes up in the real world when people say, algebra, what is it good for? Well, here's a great example of what algebra is good for. So you're just using your life wisely right now by learning this. All right, that is lesson 18. Yay, good job, you guys. I will see you next time for lesson 19. Thank you.